Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you another Kamen Rider Zio review. This time episodes 23 and 24, the Kamen Rider Kikai arc. So, in this episode, this arc, we actually encounter a rider that's 150 years into the future since the beginning of the original Kamen Rider series. A cyborg human known as I forget his full name. I think it's Renkato Makina, who is the eponymous Kamen Rider Kikai, played by the actor who did the human form of Kikaider in the live-action Kikaider reboot. For those of you not familiar with Kikaider, Kikaider was a tokusatsu hero created by Shotaro Ishinomori, the original creator of Kamen Rider, that created him as um, a new character for Toei back in the 70s. I think around 74, 75. I forget exactly when. But and he's pretty popular. I think most people in the States know him. If you're in Hawaii, he actually was pretty popular and he got a DVD release. Apparently he was very popular in Hawaii. But probably most people know him from the anime that ran on Adult Swim known as Kikaider the Animation, which is pretty good. Very much based on uh, that show. And I think Kikaider's pretty cool. I've never actually seen the reboot. I did see the episodes where he guest starred on Kamen Rider Gaim, and those were kind of fun to watch, but otherwise not nearly as uh those episodes weren't really as good as I like as the rest of Gaim, but they were it was cool just to see like Kamen Rider and Kikaider, two of Ishinomori's creations, team up in a way, but um, otherwise I can't say it because I've never seen the movie. I like the reboot design of Kikaider. He looked cool. Him and Hakaider both looked pretty good. Um, and yeah, and so basically that's Kikaider in this. In the future, he is a cyborg, reprogrammed by humans to protect the remaining humans in this. As he tries to get a bunch of young kids back to this compound for humans, to protect them from this evil cyborg menace known as humanoids, um, which are robots that look like humans that basically want to destroy the remaining actual humans left. Um, um, but yeah, we actually get a kind of an interesting story here where Sogo um, interacts with uh, Kamen Rider Kikai throughout the entire two-parter through his dreams, while also um, dealing with his another rider, the eponymous Kamen Rider, another Kikai, who isn't actually created by the Time Jackers. It's made by this weird mask that turns whoever wears it into another Kikai. Um, who is different in that regular Kikai is clearly metallic and metal and robotic, but another Kikai is made of wood. When we first meet it, him and Gates fight it, and after destroying it, it turns the face shatters it, save for the mask, and turns into this weird bug parasite thing that is turning trees into another Kikai. So Sogo has to go into the future to figure out a weakness so that they can defeat Kikai. Um, as they can't travel to 2121. Even White Waz cannot travel to 2121. He didn't even know that this rider existed, for how into the distant future. Side note: it's kind of hilarious how like Gates and Tsukuyomi are trying to prevent a bad future, but yet 100 years into the like decades after their timeline, it's gonna be like yet another bad future. Um, Although there is some weird contradictions to that, and I'll get into it after the end of the episode or when I discuss the ending. Um, but so basically, Sogo spends most of the episodes trying to figure out how to stop Kikai. While this is going on, Gates and Tsukuyomi are um, well, Gates more than Tsukuyomi is trying to is wrestling with the fact that eventually Gates is going to have to kill Sogo as the day of Omo keeps drawing closer and closer. Um, as White Waz, knows that they only need one more Mirai watch, and he can give Gates the power to become Gates Revive. Um, and throughout most of this, he Gates is constantly trying to get Sogo to sleep so that he can figure out a way to stop him. Whereas Tsukuyomi is more or less decided that she no longer can trust Sogo after the events of him getting ZO2, and so she decides that it's better for them to simply, you know, join up with White Waz and more or less destroy, kill Sogo. With Gates, his new change of heart, he's became very wishy-washy. Although he's always been kind of wishy-washy in the show, it's really kind of odd. Like Gates is for me the weakest part of the show because they clearly don't know what they want to do with him. I'm hoping when we get to Gates Revive, we get some sort of character or more to do with him, and he has improved. I liked him in the last couple episodes, but it's been very touch and go with how he like his character development. I've enjoyed Sogo's more throughout this, especially in the later arcs, particularly after almost Zio. It seems like he really started learning his lessons and coming to grips with like how to change for the better to become a good king. Um, but for the most part, um, where's I going with this? Oh, Gates is struggling with this whole thing, as Sogo is trying to um, figure stuff out. The Time Jackers are making their move, with Schwartz deciding to fuse another Kikai's power with uh, Wool, turning Wool into the human host of another Kikai, which at first appears to uh, upset upset Aura. Sorry, I'm kind of just woken up, but I want to get this done since I have the house to myself. It appears to upset Aura, so she comes to White Waz and Gates and asks them and Zio to Sogo rather to help her defeat or rescue Wool, as she thought Schwartz had went too far, turning a Time Jacker themselves into another rider, which gets our first team up between the three riders, with Sogo, Gates, and Kamen Rider Waz to work together to stop Kamen Rider Kikai. And Sogo had finally figured out a way to save Kikai, because while this is all going on, Kikai in the future, during one of his recharges, his solar satellite that charges him up with energy, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of like, I know it's probably a reference to something else, but I thought it was a neat homage to Kamen Rider Meteor from Forze, who his henshin requires him to get energy from a satellite in space. Um, he gets reprogrammed by the humanoids to try and kill the kids, which Sogo tries to stop. Um, and he learns a password from uh, Kikai, or at least what he thought was called "We'll be the BFF," which Sogo tries at first, but Tsukuyomi, after talking with Sogo's uncle, which is kind of a sad moment because like Sogo's sleeping again, trying to talk to Kikai to figure out perhaps there's a password that they can use to hard reboot him. Um, they find that she finds that Sogo never really had friends. That until he met Tsukuyomi and Gates, he had never had real friends. Which I guess kind of makes Tsukuyomi realize that maybe if her and Gates had helped him in a way that he could have um, had actual friends, and maybe he wouldn't become evil after all. And he brings up that Sogo only had this toy robot that was his only friend as a child, which he had scrolled and marker on the back of it will be the king, which makes Tsukuyomi think that perhaps Sogo didn't get the right answer. And so she takes that and goes to try and find Waz and Gates. And so they try once again to, three of them work together to capture Kikai. And in doing so, Sogo tries using will be the BFF, but that's not the right password for another Kikai, which causes it to run on a rampage. However, Tsukuyomi tells Gates that the password is will be the king, and Gates almost hesitates because both White Waz and Tsukuyomi tell him to try and to not hesitate to attack Sogo to get to another Kikai, which once again causes him to hesitate, and so Aura takes advantage of that and uses it to program Kikai herself to turn him into a true another rider, which ends up causing the death of Tsukuyomi. And then Sogo rewinds time again and tells Gates that you need to stop Kikai so that you can save that, or else the future we just saw will be a bad one, which allows Gates to reprogram him and Waz to finish off Kikai using his new Mirai watch, turning him into Kamen Rider Waz, featuring Kikai. And I thought that was it. Actually, featuring Kikai looked a lot better on Waz in the actual show than it did in pictures. It has a much better gold sheen than it does in the pictures. It certainly looks a lot better than Kamen Rider Kikai. I don't mind the Kikai's look, but he looks basically like if Gold Drive, like Henshin, or combined with one of the Guardians from Kamen Rider Build. I know the suit is based off of the Guardians from Build, but like the helmet looks okay. It looks too much like Gold Drive in my opinion. But anyway, they finish him off, and I actually like his ability. It allows him to create these chains that hold things in place, and then he finishes them off with the Zekonda Spear. And that was cool. And of course, the episode ends with the fact that Tsukuyomi and Gates once again are no longer on Sogo's side. As Sogo once again is by himself on a lonely journey to being the king. Which is upsetting for Sogo, but he accepts this because he still wants to be the king, even if no one believes he'll be a good king. But of course, this makes Schwartz realize that time is running out, and they only have one other ride watch left, and it's another Zio, which is where the episode ends. Well, while this is happening, we finally get with Waz having all three ride watches, he uses their power to create the revive ride watch, which I'm sure is going to debut in the next story arc. Probably not in the next episode, but at the end of the arc. That's just how Kamen Rider rolls. So yeah, that's the Kikai arc. As a whole, I liked the interactions between Kikai and Zio. I like the idea that perhaps Sogo himself created Kikai through... because Tsukuyomi explains it's not perhaps that they were future visions that Sogo had, but that he was literally altering the future. Even if by accident, which shows that he's, again, getting more powerful, and clearly becoming Oma Zio. Um, but like I said, I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the Kikai stuff just because it was kind of a neat little homage to Showa riders and just kind of as seeing as how it's the last of the future riders. It was kind of neat to see it that like the future of riders will maybe one day um be like the past of riders. It was kind of neat. Especially because like Kikai himself has like a '70s outfit that makes him look like a '70s rider, and the fact that his whole thing is he has to protect children like old school riders. I thought that was kind of neat. Um, I will admit the story arc with Sogo is kind of dumb. Like the whole time Sogo's trying to pass a test so he can graduate high school. But like it's such a in the background thing. I don't even uh care to bring it up. It's so kind of blasé. Was it? Sorry, blasé. Sorry, stupid joke. I know. Like it was such a background thing. I didn't even care to really bring it up until now. Um, I enjoyed the story line with Gates just because it was at least nice to have Gates have some semblance of character where he tries to help Sogo defeat the Rider. Um, and as well, I just really enjoyed overall just um the stuff with with the time jackers and seeing Aura being manipulative because she wanted to create the new king. That was an interesting thing. And just seeing the infighting with the three time jackers and how Wool clearly kind of didn't care for the way he was treated by Schwartz and Aura. Um, and as a whole, I liked seeing this seeing Sogo dealing with the fact that the only friends he has is now trying to kill him. It's kind of a sad thing, really. But that's gonna be it for a little bit. I think next week I'll be getting we'll be getting episode 26. So it might be a little bit before my sources will have 26 out. Um, but I will try to get to it as soon as possible. I'm also gonna try and uh, do my Godzilla vlogs. Start my Godzilla vlogs sometime, probably this weekend, just because I'll have time to actually watch the episodes then and do a vlog. But otherwise, guys, I think that's gonna be it for a little bit. So I thank you all for the patience and me finishing up and catching up with the episodes. And I hope to catch you all coming back here when I finally get it to the newer episodes. With that being said, guys, um, look forward to my Godzilla vlogs when I do finally get them out. I've been wanting to do that, and I just feel bad that I haven't really gotten to it. But anyway, guys, I'm Zangetsu 134. Take care.